Testing. Hello? Is this thing on? What's good, my ghouls and goblins? Welcome back to the return. The hiatus has ended and the revenge has started. Welcome back to Reely Scared. Top Goblin, Connor Breedlove. It is so beautiful to see you this evening. How are you doing, my friend?
Woo! It's good to be back.
Howling at the moon, I see.
Absolutely. I'm so happy we're back.
It's been a long time coming. It's something I've had a lot of time to think about, and it's weird. I was kind of almost nervous. I don't know if you experienced this as well. What's going on, Jeremy? Thanks for watching. Oh, what's going on? Hiroki Wit, the legend. Thank you for watching. Good to see you, my friend. We got Joseph hanging out in the chat. What's going on? Thanks for watching tonight. Ghouls and Goblins. Everybody's congregating tonight for the second annual edition of REELOWEEN. REELOWEEN. It's the best time of the year. It's the best time.
It really is.
It took us longer than I anticipated to get back here, and a lot of things happened. As you can see, I moved. This is where I live now. Streaming from a new location. A lot of changes, developments in life. It took a little longer to get back here than I would have thought, but we got back here just in time for.
It's already happening.
What was that? No, is something happening with my internet? Can you see me?
I can see you.
Hear me?
I can hear you.
Communicate.
You started lagging a little bit. We're good. We're good.
That's the other thing. That's the other big experiment. Yeah, I'm really scared of my Spectrum internet service, Davis. But thanks for watching there, buddy. We got Jose in the chat. What's going on? Thanks for watching.
Love you, Jose.
Like nobody, Rager doesn't know anything about a damn dungeon. All right, baby. We are here just in time for the spooky season. My internet's spooky. I haven't been on a live stream in 3 months. I don't know what happens when I do. We'll find out together. We're going to go on this journey as one, as a team. And hopefully it'll prove to be a good journey. But it's so good to be back. Like I was saying, I was a little nervous about it.
I was nervous all day. It's all I could think about all day. It's at work. People wanting phones. And I'm like, yeah, I can sell you a phone, but I really want to go home. I really want to do this show.
Yeah.
It's more important right now.
It was really weird getting back in the mix on this. Like, it was really weird remembering where to post the link and get the thumbnail ready. By the way, shout out to Astro for the great thumbnail. And the new
look at the new look. We're back and we have a new look already.
That's true. We did go on hiatus. We went on hiatus right when there was a channel rebrand, and no one even got to see the stellar new StreamYard art that Astro put together for us. We're back, and we never looked better. Love it. I'm so excited to be back. And we knew if we were going to come back, we had to do it in top form. We had to really pull out all the stops for REELOWEEN. I think we did a pretty good job last year. Last year, REELOWEEN was chaos. We were doing weird. Well, I think we watched Cats.
REELOWEEN was weird last year.
We talked to the directors and stars of Hosts for 4 hours. It was a weird month.
Oh yeah.
I
don't want to talk about that episode ever again. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I believe that.
And 2, I just remember waking up and being yelled at because I threw up shells and cheese in the shower immediately after that.
Well, on that token, we'll go ahead and open this up here.
Oh, you got spooky tooth. I got some pumpkin.
He's got the pumpkin. I got the spooky tooth. I'm a straight up hoe for this time of year. Pumpkin things, pumpkin food. Pour it in here in my new here.
That's sick.
Halloween 2 mug. We're not talking about Halloween 2 this month, but
Yeah, we're not talking about Friday the 13th either, but
you didn't have a Michael Myers jersey. That's okay.
I don't have a Michael Myers jersey, but I do have a Michael Myers shirt. But I feel like wearing the jersey.
It looks good.
Nice and lightweight. It's comfy.
You look great. I'm glad to see you. I'd like to raise this to you, my friend. A little bit of the pumpkin ale for you.
I'll raise my bottle to you.
Bunk. Great to be back. Great to be back in the saddle for REELOWEEN. If you hadn't heard, all month we're going to be talking about films from the Halloween series. appropriately enough, a long time ago, we'd said, with our format, normally we have a guest on, they pick out a movie, and we talk about that movie. And we had said, if we get all the way to October and no one picks any of the Halloween movies, we're just going to do a whole month of Halloween movies. And we made it. Probably helps that we didn't do any shows for 3 months. That probably that was an easy way to make that work.
Yeah.
So now we're back, and we are doing 5 Halloween episodes this month in anticipation and build up to Halloween Kills. Tonight we'll be talking, of course, where else can you start but the 1970 original film, John Carpenter's Halloween. Next week, we'll be doing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. The following, we'll be doing Rob Zombie's Halloween. And then 2018's Halloween. 3 of those movies are just called Halloween, not confusing at all. And then we'll do a little bonus edition for Halloween Kills. So we've got a busy, shaped up month ahead of us, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh. Yeah, and I'll do a short plug. Pretty much all of the Halloween movies. Mostly love Shudder. Get Shudder.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I watch Halloween. I'm pretty sure 2 through 5 are on there.
Me, I signed up for a free trial of AMC Plus. Give me a break.
Well, AMC Plus and Shudder are partnered, so everything on Shudder is on AMC Plus.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't keep.
They're like they're interchangeable, except AMC Plus stuff isn't on there.
Yeah, and you know what? When I think of October and Halloween, I do think of AMC Marathon. So I felt it.
Yeah.
Suge in the chat, who I've recently had the pleasure and privilege to meet in person, and he did communicate to me when we were hanging out that he is unironically, like straight up, terrified of Michael Myers. Like, not joking.
I know a lot of people. My friend Nick is terrified of Michael Myers. Like, and we'll get into the cultural impact Michael Myers has had on people later on. But I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You okay there? What have you been watching for 3 months?
For 3 months?
It's been 3 months. What have you been watching?
Yeah, so here's the part where we categorically list out everything we pull up our Letterboxd accounts and we list out everything we watched for 3 months straight, not missing a single title. Yeah, you know what I watched recently was the new Venom. How about you?
I have not seen Venom yet.
I think you'll love it. I think it's the kind of bananas.
I do. You know what I've been watching? Squid Game. Everybody's been talking about this Squid Game.
Everybody's talking about the Squid Game.
So I turned it on, being the lady, being Olivia, turned on Squid Game. A fantastic show.
Yeah, I've not. You know what? I've really been slacking on my series viewing. It's been very difficult for me to find time for that in my life. Maybe end of the year, I'll have to check out some Squid Game. And you've been watching, I know you're a fan of this probably more so than me. Have you been watching the new American Horror Story stuff?
Oh, yeah.
How's that going? Because I know you were kind of skeptical about, I think everybody, even like the most diehard American Horror Story fans, are always a little skeptical about what they're going through.
Why does Ryan Murphy suck at finales? That's all I want to know.
Is the season over already?
No, it's 2 parts, 2 different stories. Weird why they did that. They already crammed enough stuff in. But the first part ended and the finale sucked. Everything else was like the best thing they've ever done. Mm-hmm. And then they had the finale for that first part, and it was awful. And now they're into the alien part, which the first episode was so cool, and then the second episode was meh. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I've been watching.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. That's something I'm also tempted maybe watching in the coming weeks.
Definitely check it out if you have Hulu and watch all the episodes so far. What about our boy Mike Flanagan? He has a new project out.
I haven't watched a second of that either. How's that?
What the fuck?
I really, this week all I've been watching is the original run of Halloween movies. I'm like, number 5 right now.
I mean, that's fair.
You got to get it in. You got to put in the time.
That's very true.
Yeah, David stole all his ideas. Nick, you're actually right on the money. Really scared back on the
Yes, honestly, we came back on the 1-year anniversary of Halloween, which we're big fans of. We love Hoobie Halloween, and I've been clamoring for a sequel. So maybe, is it coincidence? I don't know.
Hashtag Tubi Halloween.
Hoobie Halloween, I love that.
And you can watch it on Tubi.
Midnight Mass. I was actually going to bring up the 1-year anniversary of Hoobie Halloween next, but yeah, Midnight Mass.
On your itinerary.
It was, I have a list of talking points. I'm back with a vengeance, baby. But no, Midnight Mass is beautiful, as you would expect from Mike Flanagan. He just never misses. Let's be honest.
That's true. The king never misses. And now he's making an Edgar Allan Poe show, I understand.
Yeah. And he's got the Midnight Club.
Ooh, like the PS2 racing games?
No, it's something else.
That'd be cool. Look, James Wan tried that out. James Wan said, I'm going to make a movie about some fast cars. Why not Mike Flanagan?
No, they're doing they are doing Twisted Metal finally.
That's true. That's true. I've been clamoring for that since I was like
me too.
6 years old. You'll get the secret origin of me and Rob Zombie on our Rob Zombie's Halloween episode.
I cannot wait to talk about Rob Zombie on that episode.
Yeah, I've you know what? Also, I'll just cue it up here. I've never seen Rob Zombie's Halloween. So
oh man, dude. That was my introduction to Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's fascinating.
Yep.
It's somehow the only two I've ever missed were the Rob Zombie ones.
I like them. I threw on some Dragula today.
He's a little Dragula?
I threw on some Dragula on my way home. My boy Nick.
Right here, baby. Pumpkin ale.
Come get some pumpkin, boy. But no, yeah. Threw on some Dragula and some Nick Cave on my way home, getting in the mood.
Some Nick Cave. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be really interesting, I think, to hear throughout the month what people's experiences and like backstory are with this franchise. Because I think anybody who's watched horror movies it's been sort of omnipresent. And at least for me, that's true. I kind of grew up. I'm going to say I grew up on these movies, but they were definitely around as I was a kid. Like this was kind of the horror series. This was like my gateway into slashers and such, I would say.
Absolutely.
But before we do hop in there, even though
we've got guests. We've got guests. Let's just stop being around the bush. We've got guests.
We got guests. We've got two beautiful, wonderful guests. And let me tell you, I was mentioning earlier, I was like a little nervous about coming back. I had some anxiety about it because it's been so long. And I'm really grateful and really excited to say we've got two of the show's bestest friends coming in. So like no pressure. We're just hanging out amongst friends. We're having a good time. We're drinking some pumpkin ales and we're just going to talk about Halloween and Michael Myers. And it's going to be a beautiful evening. So there's no way I'd rather get back to the show and no way I'd rather start REELOWEEN than with these two folks. Would you mind queuing up the one we got backstage here, buddy?
Oh, the one we got backstage. Yeah. My boy who is covering his mouth, my boy who co-hosts. It's weird because two shows I co-host went on hiatus, but one of my good friends, I love this guy dearly. I'm glad he's on tonight. It's Chris Anthony Lopez.
Yo. What's good, y'all?
Look at this beautiful boy.
Happy
Thank
Reely
you so much.
Scared. Welcome back, y'all. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
This man is the real, like while I was gone, I was like, damn, Chris is on this channel like 4 nights a week. This dude's the MVP. Every time I laid down to go to bed, it's like Chris doing a show. I gotta watch it.
I wish I had the energy of Chris Anthony Lopez, because I get home from work and I'm like beat. I'm chugging energy drinks like it's nothing, and I still get home and I'm like, is it bedtime yet? But this man is on 4 shows, working, doing everything. This guy, thank you for coming on.
No, and I appreciate it, man. It's, y'all took a hiatus. I took a hiatus, just me, from literally everything I've ever done. Because, things got busy, things got hectic. I moved. I moved. Now I'm in the lovely city of Chicago, which is a nice change of pace from Oklahoma. I'll tell you that. But yeah. I'm so happy to be here. And, you know, Connor mentioned the other shows, the RGC. We're working on it, y'all. We're working on it.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. There's a whole season of Turner and Hooch we got to talk about. So so we'll be back sooner rather than later. But I'm glad to be back. I'm really scared. Y'all put out the Chris signal. And, of course, your boy had to come.
We lit it up.
I had to come to support, you know, talk some Halloween with y'all. And I know we'll probably talk about, we're going to talk about the first movie a ton and our experiences with it. But I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
We're happy you're here.
We're so happy to have you, buddy. And we've got another guest I'm really happy to have. You know, you might know her as the favorite ghoul. Truly the flame of my life. And my roommate here in the dark dungeon, ladies and gentlemen, Jessika. She was here the whole time, too.
Holy shit!
I saw her creepy smile in the corner. I was like, just popped out of nowhere, shifted up, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, you got me. That scared the shit out of me.
She wanted to do
Hi,
big
Jessika.
reveal.
I did. I wanted to be all dramatic and come in true witchy form. But yeah, my neck was hurting for a reason.
She did roll out of the frame right about when Connor said he was coughing up shells.
I did. I rolled out so I could like stretch my neck, and then I came back in.
She's back. She's back. Everybody's back. We've done it. And let me also say, I gotta get her IMDb credit as set designer, because everything back here, you really can't almost appreciate how crazy it is here with the little StreamYard frame. But there's just so many candles and a pumpkin and a skull is up in the ceiling, and there's like spider webs, and just like this is all I did. All I added was like, we should be like a red light, and that's all I added to it.
Did you get those lights I sent you?
I did get it. There's a little light along the floor on the floor here.
How are they treating you? You like them?
I think I'm going to get a little extension and light it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
that's what's good about them. You can extend them.
It's true. Welcome back to the Light Review Podcast.
Yeah, where we strictly, we're not going to be talking about Halloween the movie. We're going to be talking about Halloween lights. Different lights you can get for Halloween.
I have
for your own decor. These are the Singlet lights from Best Buy.
Welcome back to the 12-foot Home Depot skeleton review. We got a great boner here.
Great boner.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. What's going on? We got parties in the chat.
Parties in the chat.
Party, y'all. We got a great episode for y'all tonight. And we've talked about this before. It happens sometimes where it's like, you look so, I gotta turn this a little bit. We can't see you. There you go.
Oh, no. Is it my hat?
You're like a specter.
No,
a specter in the shadow. You could just like fade in and out like some sort of ghost there. Gone. Gone.
I love it.
Gone. Yeah, whenever you're like tired of talking about it, you could just vanish into the mist there.
The mist coming to a Really Scared near you.
Yeah, probably could be. Or at least the fog, a little more Carpenter. We got a great episode for you here tonight. I mean, we're talking about a massive movie, right? Like, it's a movie everybody's seen. You know, once in a while we dig deep. You know, you get a Demon Knight or a Baskin. And you're like, what's going on here? Tonight we got a movie everybody's seen. We got a man everybody's seen in the chat. Brandon Buckingham. He's happy, Really Scared's back. Thank you. We're happy to have you here in the chat hanging out with us. We got Nick Harley in the chat as well. Just tons of people we're happy to see. This is great. Nick Harley's in the chat. A great friend. Slick Nick in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. We've got a huge episode because this is a movie everybody has seen, right? Like, even if you're not a horror fan, everybody knows what this is. Everybody's seen it at some point in their life. A true, bona fide legend of a film. And, like, it's kind of intimidating to cover a movie like this because it's like, where do you even start with something like John Carpenter's Halloween?
I know where to start.
Do the honors.
Very beginning. Let me preface this by saying I do love this movie. Great movie. But right away, I forgot the beginning where, little Mikey's just, scoping out the house. And then he kills his older sister. Spoilers. Yeah, full spoilers, by the way. We're spoiling the hell out of this movie.
Wait,
this
the sister
movie
died?
from 1978. We're spoiling the fuck out of it. But then he comes out of the house after, stabbing his sister. And he has this bloody knife. And his parents arrive at the same time he's walking out of the house. And they just, walk up to him and just stand there and stare at him for a very long time. Motionless. And I was just it's a good movie. It's a great movie. It's an iconic movie, but I was laughing so hard because his parents were just like, Michael, what's going on? And then they just stand there and stare at him.
It is kind of
like
funny.
Your small child is holding a butcher knife with blood.
To me, it feels like the intention is they freeze frame. But they couldn't quite get it, so
they were moving.
They're just stand real still, and we'll dolly out.
Well, maybe that's why they stood there staring at him, because they're in shock. They see their little boy just standing there with a knife with blood all over it. But I don't know how I would react if I came home and Christian was standing in the front yard with a knife that had blood on it and a clown costume. I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Plus, it was the 70s, so things were pretty trippy at the time. The 70s were a weird decade.
Yeah, you're right, because they got a taxi home, right? Didn't they get a taxi home?
What, was that a van? I don't know what that was.
I don't know, but they were probably
remember the car.
Up. You're right. They were probably fucked up.
Oh, totally.
They were out of the cocktail party or something. Yeah, exactly. Boomer parents, real devil may care attitude, real bohemians. They ain't got time for this. They left Judith home with her boyfriend.
They were about to get it on while he was there, and he's like, I gotta kill her because she's trying to do it while I'm here.
How disrespectful of her.
Yeah.
How disrespectful.
Scream, I just want to say Scream is not S tier, it is A tier, but we'll move on.
I think S tier is above A tier.
S tier is like the superior tier. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you ever finish a
I don't know tiers.
level?
I don't know tiers. Apparently, I don't know tiers.
Yeah, it's like A than everything else alphabetically, but S is like, oh my god. That's like God tier.
The only
star tier.
The only tiers I got are right here for Haddonfield, baby. So much they've seen so much and hurt so much. I feel so bad for that little sleepy town.
Chris.
Yo!
Cheers, bud.
Coke buddy.
Coke buddies.
All about that Coke.
A lot of that in the 70s too, I'm sure.
Oh, you're damn right.
No, so I guess, we never want to do the this happened and then this happened and then this happened conversation. But I guess with a film like this, where do you start but that opening scene? It is one of the great iconic cold opens, and you just hop in, no context, and it sets the unintentional tone and theme that I guess Carpenter's also said is not what they were trying to achieve, which is the idea of Michael Myers being the virginal champion, the Punisher of all promiscuous behavior and drug use.
And his thought process about it makes sense. When you're knocking boots, you're not really thinking about anything besides knocking boots.
And that's what makes me go back to my point on the sister being disrespectful. I get it. You wanna, have some fun. That's cool. That's fine. But your brother's downstairs, and obviously before this evening where he slays his sister, and mind you, the shot of when he's stabbing his topless sister. And just stab, and then he looks up at the knife. And he's like, stab. That was a weird choice, but okay. Michael needs to see his form, I guess, and how he's gonna kill somebody.
They need you to see in case you don't quite get it. By the way, he's stabbing her with a knife.
Yes, it's a knife.
Don't they also open up with him being outside watching her from the window?
They do.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Michael's just kind of I don't know.
So
well, it was on Halloween, right?
Way.
But that's what's so interesting about the intro and really the whole film is they give you so much space to project on it. They don't give you the sequels are where it gets real messy, and they try to explain why Michael's the way that he is and where he comes from.
You know, the thorn and everything.
Yeah, that's when it gets really sweaty later in the series. But I think with horror, a lot of times the simpler it is, the better. And like this is the simplest of all the movies. It's like there's a guy with a knife and he's chasing a lady who doesn't want to be stabbed with a knife. Like that's pretty much all there is to this movie. Very simple. It's very simple concept and then just great, compelling execution, especially when you consider, you know, it's 1978. And when you consider where the genre is at this point, you know, a lot of people credit Halloween as like the birth of the slasher, and like arguable, but it's definitely the popularization of the slasher. It's like once this happens, the floodgates are open, you know?
And it did like kind of set the landmark for like all the check marks and what makes a slasher. You've got the character, you've got the, you know, the slasher, Michael, and then everything else comes after it, you know, Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, everybody else. It set the landmark for that. It set the landmark for like the score.
Oh my God. I mean, we're going to dance all over this thing because it's like there's just so much to talk about. But
it set the landmark for the score.
Is there a better horror movie theme ever?
Though I don't think so. The only thing that can really kind of go toe to toe with this score is the Friday the 13th score. But
that's all it is, you know. Like I don't think of any.
Yeah, it's not really a score, but you know that's what you associate it with. You know, when the killer comes.
And when I think of
the theme for the killer. But yeah, the score is amazing. And also like the cliches, you know, if you have sex, you're going to die.
Right.
Which John Carpenter, which we were talking about, like kind of explained, like that's not what they were going for, but his thought process for it made sense. When you're having sex, that's all you're thinking about. And Laurie Strode is not thinking about sex. She's just babysitting and she can defend herself.
Right.
Because that's all she's thinking about. She's not thinking about anything else besides defending herself and those kids. So that makes sense. But that, you know, set the precedent for those cliches and those tropes. So this movie really set the landmark for the whole entire like genre. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you have to appreciate this movie.
Yeah, I think so many people, when they think of slashers too, it does, their mind goes to like somebody's trying to kill the baby, like the babysitters with the kids, and there's a man outside. It's like that is this movie. It's like you think of it as very tropey, like, you know, blueprint, but that is what this movie is, and it's a weird trailblazer in that way. Chris, I would love to hear. I'd love to hear so many different things from you, because as a lot of people probably know by now, if you keep up with this channel and you know Chris, and it's true for Jessika as well. Neither of you are necessarily horror people. I was saying the other day, Jessika, you probably watched more horror movies in the, you know, two or so years that you've been with me than you have in the rest of your life combined. And I think that's probably true.
It is true.
And Chris, I know you were just in general not much of a horror guy.
I mean, chicken shit. You can say it.
Yeah.
Chicken shit.
What is your experience with the Halloween series? Like, have you seen a lot of them? Have you seen, you know, just this one? Like, what is your? Because I was really excited to see that you had signed up to be on this one, and I would love to hear, you know, what made it appeal to you and what your experience like with these movies is.
So let's take it back to the year 1997. Chris Anthony Lopez was born. I'm kidding. No, I don't remember the first time I saw this movie, but it's always stuck with me. And to me, it's the quintessential horror movie. Like, it's like we talk about, you know, it's a trailblazer, and it is the not the start of the slasher genre, but like what Taylor said, it popularized it. And to me, this is, in a weird way, like with the exception of some cuts and stuff, it's the perfect horror movie to show somebody who doesn't really know where to start with horror flicks. And I was one of those. To me, horror was always like the classics, like, you know, the Child's Plays, and I saw Nick in the chat put Scream first, like that's me too. But the first Halloween, I don't have an answer for too many. What's your favorite horror movie? I always give Scream and Halloween, the first one, because it's always where my brain goes. The score is incredible. I like Jamie Lee Curtis, like in what was her like breakout role.
Yeah.
Like, she's the quintessential final girl of the horror genre. And she like sticks up for herself, and she ain't fucking around with this dude. You know, it's just a guy like that killed his sister, and now he's out stealing cars and doing this crazy shit.
Drive.
Yeah. How many Halloween movies are there? That's something else that I wrote down. I wrote down stuff for this.
He's always driving.
I want to see more Michael driving.
He's always driving
Just some
around.
Grand Theft Auto shit. Just hop in a car and, you know, just beat up some people. In this case, kill some people. I want to see more Michael behind the wheel. Give me Halloween versus Fast and Furious.
I've just always loved the visual of him like stopping at a light, putting on his turn signal, waiting. Okay, he's got the right of way.
He did that in the movie.
He really did. The only thing he did was make an abrupt stop in the middle of a residential area. That's the only kind of traffic violation he made. But otherwise, he's a pretty good driver.
Great.
He's got to be like, you know, low profile, not getting. He doesn't want any attention until he gets to Haddonfield, so he can go like jerk off in his basement or whatever. Because people forget, like, you know, all the sister stuff and like all that character stuff doesn't come until the sequel to this. So like, in this one, all you can really see that he's looking to do is go back to his childhood home, and then that's when he sees Lori, and it's as simple as he sees her and wants to kill her. Like, that's all there is to it. There's so much to appreciate, I think, in the simplicity for it. And I love that he drives. Nobody else is driving around. It really is
very simple. The movie and his driving is very simple. You know, like it's not too complicated. And Michael Myers going full of yo,
no, you're right. He does show up in that truck at the gas station. I forgot about that.
He kicks ass. Michael Myers kicks a lot of ass.
He can be a very good driver. He was only a kid when he went away. If he learned intuitively, it makes sense why he's such an effective maniac. Oh yeah, he can't be a good yeah. I love when Loomis throws some shit, like maybe somebody gave him lessons, like you fucker, like none of you were paying attention here at the sanitarium. I was going to drive. There's a scene in part 5, which I'll just mention now because we're not going to do an episode on part 5 this month, where he's just chasing people around in a car, and it's just like the perfect cherry on a Sunday that they start building this. He's always driving.
Can we talk about Loomis? Loomis is fucking creepy.
Donald Pleasance. That's a whole subsection of this. We can
when he's hiding behind the bushes next to the Myers home, and he's like, "Hey, get your ass away from the house."
I would say arguably he produces the best acting in this movie.
1,000%.
But that scene when he's behind the bush and just like creeping the kids out, I'm just like, dude, you're a fucking creep.
Oh, don't act like you wouldn't do that.
I wrote.
Get the fuck out of there.
He's doing it to their benefit. Like, you don't want to be hanging out.
Save their lives, but his voice when he did that was just so creepy. I'm like,
get your ass out of here. He does put on a very funny voice.
Get your ass away from there.
And he does do this very self-satisfied little smile afterwards. Like,
he's so happy about it. He's like, I scared some kids and I saved their lives.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Nick Harley in the chat, he's not full-blown terrifying until 4. I'm guessing you're referring to Loomis. So and I realized that today I was like, wow, this is the only Halloween we're going to talk about that has Donald Pleasance in it all month, which is kind of a shame because he's you know, everybody thinks of Laurie, but Loomis is really like the reluctant hero of all these movies up until H2O. When Donald Pleasance passes, he's really the through line, besides Michael, of course, through all these movies. And I mean, yes, you said it. I agree. Donald Pleasance is definitely he's the best actor, and he's the only one in this movie at the time who has any sort of reputation or gravitas. I know Carpenter originally wanted that character to be first. It was I think Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Christopher Lee
and Peter Cushing.
And Christopher Lee said it was his biggest regret.
Yeah.
In his career.
Yeah. Wow. Which you can see both of those 100%. Like, that would have totally worked, right? Like, Hammer horror and that era is fully developed. I mean, we're now like 20 years later after, like, I want to say roughly Christopher Lee starts playing Dracula. So like those guys are totally in that wheelhouse. You could easily see how they would fit in. The movie would probably work about as well with either of them. But there is just something about crazy old Loomis that I just wouldn't want to see anybody else do. I'll see Malcolm McDowell do it, I guess, in the Rob Zombie one, which I
and he does it to an even creepier effect.
Yeah,
he's so weird.
The developing creepiness, like watching Loomis progressively go off the rails throughout the series, is such a rewarding treat. It's really the best part of the sequels is seeing how he develops. Yes, Davis, he screams at more and more children in every movie.
He hates kids.
Oh wow,
he hates kids.
He hates it because they're his.
Well, I mean, think about this. The last kid he really had like a true interaction with was probably Michael.
And he can't wait to tell you about that. He is like, as you watch the sequels, you really see, it's funny. You watch all the supporting characters start going like, oh, here he fucking goes again. He's like, 15 years ago, he didn't say a word for 15 years. His eyes.
And he's driving. Who taught him to drive?
It's evil.
He's an amazing driver, but
he drives stick. I can't drive stick.
He has water bottles for free in his Uber, but he's got eyes of black evil. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, trigonometry.
He's always yeah. Why are you protecting? He's the best. I mean, he has the great, which is just his whole relationship is, you know, he's Ahab and Michael Myers is Moby Dick, right? Like that's the entire. That's all it needs.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
He's
hanging fruit there. He went to go grab it.
Yeah, he is unnerving. He is a maniac. I mean, his entire real, and it's not as prevalent in this one. He's like still kind of a human being, but throughout this series, his entire being is just focused on killing Michael Myers. That's all he could think about.
Well, isn't this is comment? Isn't the whole thing is that Michael Myers isn't supposed to be perceived as like an actual human? He's supposed to be.
He's the shape.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and that's what I think it's so great about this, because when you get to the sequels throughout the 80s and 90s, it's like it gets so convoluted to try to explain how someone could become that way, where the best answer is he just is that way.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the opening scene. There's no exposition that says like, okay, this is why he killed his sister, because of something that is informative incident in his life, and this is why it happened, or he's paranormal. It's just like all of that is just open to your projection, what you can see in the story.
Not until we get to the greatest Halloween with Paul Rudd that we realize,
Love that man. Love that man.
It's a supernatural thing, but I digress.
And that's the simplicity of this one, right? It's very simple. It's like he killed his sister when he was a child. They sent him away. Now he just wants to go back and he's going to kill anybody in his way. Plain and simple, bang, don't have sex. So, and then they do the second one, which I really enjoy the second one. I know a lot of folks don't like
it. I do too.
The second one's good.
Haven't seen it.
It's a goodie. Like, it's a way more kick-ass. But they do the whole Laurie thing and they try to flesh out Michael and who he is and give him a backstory. Some of the best to Michael Myers is he's just killing folks that are in his way. He has a mission, whatever the mission is, who gives a shit? He's one of the symbols of horror. You think of like horror icons. Michael Myers is one of the first people you think of, up there with the Jason Voorhees and the Leatherfaces and all that jazz. But Michael Myers is quintessential to folks, and I hear it all the time, and I guarantee y'all see it more than I would, or hear it more than I would. That like, oh, Michael Myers scares the shit out of me. He still spooks me. There's a great shot in the movie where Laurie's just like, she's right outside of a door and Michael just like creeps in the light.
Oh, I love that scene. Oh,
it's a great shot. And this is, by the way, it's a super well-made movie. The exception of some cuts, this is a great flick.
And John Carpenter is actually a genius because he couldn't get that shot and he just took like some lights and just plugged them into an outlet and just put it under that.
Like how Jess entered the show. It's just like that.
Yeah,
it was just like that.
Yeah.
Like John Carpenter is just a genius, and he even plugged his own movies in this movie. with, the original thing he put in there, but famously
the ultimate calling your own shot is
yeah,
putting footage of Howard Hawks' thing in this, and then 5 years later making one of the greatest horror movies of all time by adapting that material.
Yeah.
What the ultimate fucking boss move. What a king.
John Carpenter is just a genius. Whenever his name is attached, you just know it's going to be a banger.
It's true. There's once in a while you get a Ghosts of Mars, but it's like, well, this is a filmmaker trying something out.
Well,
he's working.
I don't know. I remember watching Ghosts of Mars on VHS and really liking it at like 9 years old. So
that makes sense. John Carpenter's
that's the last time I watched it.
Yeah. and I agree, Nick. What he truly is a G. And amazing, just like you think a lot of these older filmmakers, like they get older and they say a lot of embarrassing shit, and they, it's like, you gotta like contend with something gross they did. It's like, this dude's just out here composing his music, smoking cigarettes, and like saying the funniest old man like cranky stuff you can think of. Like he's just so consistent, and he's the best. He really is.
He's on par with like Paul Schrader in the terms of like saying cranky old man shit on Facebook.
Yeah, and his position at the end of the day is like, just fuck you, pay me. I love getting paid, which is great. I love it. And it's true. And The Mouth of Madness does well. I forgot we have talked about a Carpenter before because we did an episode on The Mouth of Madness with Jan Evernall. Go back and find it.
I think about that movie a lot. That was the first time I watched it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Great. I also just watched Christine for the first time, so I'm just kind of doing a Carpenter.
Carpenter is so fucking good. And like, how are you so good in two like forms of art? I'm like, how are you so good at making movies and like making music?
We touched on it for a second, but like I want to run back because it's like I think the most iconic horror theme of all time. I think David said earlier also Candyman, which is true. I saw that new Candyman.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, that's a good theme. Like doesn't have as much mileage as the others because there's not like 20 sequels to it, but it's like it's a great theme too. But I think for like the original slashers, like there's just nothing quite as iconic as this theme. It resonates through all the movies in the series, and there's little riffs on it and remixes of it, and it's like whenever you just walk outside and it's October and you hear that song playing in some way, you're just like, hell yes. It's like you put that on, you're instantly in the right headspace for the season. Like it's just so iconic. Carpenter
this is really tough.
Because John Carpenter.
I have to go with Craven. I've got to go with Craven.
Fight.
That's an interesting comparison because they're similar in ways and they're different in others. It's like Craven ends up being much more of a franchise guy, right? Like,
and I just love Craven. Even his like the movies people don't like what's that one?
Let me help.
Soul one. What's it called?
Which one?
It's something Soul.
Something
Pixar Soul?
No, it was his last movie.
My Soul to
Take.
Yeah.
I like that one even, and that's his worst reviewed movie.
We watched Cursed recently. That was
Cursed is so good. Jesse Eisenberg.
It doesn't age well.
But which one did you watch? Did you watch the rated or unrated?
Oh God, I don't know.
I think we watched the rated one. We didn't.
Okay, so the unrated version is a lot better because it's his actual cut. And I remember watching that on DVD when my mom worked at Family Video. She brought home the unrated version of Cursed, and I watched that and I was like, wow.
It's an informative incident for you.
Yeah, it really is. Family Video kind of raised me, so. But yeah, I got to go with Craven.
I got to go with Craven.
Because he did my favorite one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Scream.
Does all four, right? And
yeah, and then he did. Oh no, Evil Dead's the other one that I really love. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. But Evil Dead and Scream kind of interchange in terms of favorite horror movie.
I know some people didn't like Dracula 2000, but I did.
Wait, did Craven do that? Craven didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
Who did do that though? That's a great question. Dracula 2000.
Patrick Lussier. Is that his name?
Dracula 2000. Yeah, you just made my brain light up. I was like trying to figure out what that was.
Isn't that the one with like
with
that's
I like
Mike
anything
Biggs
with
in
Gerard
that?
Butler in it though. I like Phantom of the Opera. It's got Gerard
I watched
Butler.
that recently. I thought it was pretty
Phantom
good.
of the Opera is pretty dope.
Dope, right?
I'll fuck
Yeah,
around with
pretty
both
good, pretty good.
Yeah. See,
Turn on the.
Davis is with me.
He's with you.
I've never even heard of My Soul to Take.
It's good. It's good.
It's
A lot of people don't like it. I like it. It's good.
but they do kind of have. So where we got to this conversation was they kind of have that same trajectory where in like the back half of the career as they get older and crazier, they just kind of continue making movies, but they don't get the same acclaim or attention as they used to, which is interesting because when you think of other filmmakers who are like really renowned within their genre or their audience, when you think of, I don't know, just to throw one out there, like Scorsese. It's like every time that guy puts out a movie,
Well,
it's a big
that's
deal.
the thing. Has Scorsese done a horror movie?
No, not really. I think it's
No,
like-
horror has this like weird thing where it goes through its like love phase and its hate phase with the audiences. My Soul to Take, I think, was like 2010. And that time you were getting a lot of, people just did not like horror.
Sure.
It was just, a gimmick at this point. And people didn't like horror. Early 2000s, it was just like people didn't like horror. And then people revisit it. Like House of Wax was shitted on. The remake, the 2005 remake. That
I love
movie
that
fucking
movie.
rules. I love the remake of House of Wax. And I've seen a resurgence on like Twitter and TikTok about how that movie rules. It's like, well, granted, half of you weren't born when this movie came out, but whatever. Or most
Especially
of
if you're
you
on
were
TikTok,
fine.
the audience is like 15.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, horror is weird, but I guarantee if like Carpenter has his name associated with the new iteration of Halloween, and those are acclaimed. And I guarantee if, God rest his soul, Wes Craven was alive, like, I guarantee if he was directing Scream, the new one, it's going to be a hit. And audiences and critics are going to love it. If he was making horror now with this huge resurgence with like A24 horror, like, can you imagine a Wes Craven or a John Carpenter A24 horror?
Well, that's the other
Insane.
thing, right? Is a lot of these guys, you would think it wouldn't be difficult after a certain point, but later in their careers, they like also have kind of a hard time getting funding. Like that was the thing for Carpenter is like diminishing returns on his movies. He resists the temptation of becoming a franchise guy. Like this is the only movie in this entire series he actually directed.
Yeah.
The only single one. And, he tries, he does a sequel to, he does Escape from LA, which of course that has its own issues and people don't really receive that too well. He doesn't really become a sequel guy or a franchise guy. And I think, Halloween obviously becomes a bigger name than John Carpenter. And later in his career, when you have something like Memoirs of an Invisible Man or Ghosts of Mars, it's like, those don't play as well. And it becomes harder and harder for somebody like Carpenter to get probably the financing he wants on a movie. Especially when you compare it to early in his career where you have this, which was like, what, a $300,000 movie, and it made like
at the time it was the highest grossing
47
independent
million
movie.
in the United States.
47.
The only thing that took it over was Terminator and Terminator 2. Both were independent movies.
Right.
And those overtook the highest grossing independent movies. But at the time, for like almost 10 years, this was the highest grossing independent movie.
I think it would mainly in comparison to the budget of the film was $300,000 versus like Terminator. I'm sure the budget was very, very much higher than that.
Not the first one. The first one was right around the same
Was it?
point. Yeah, the first one was very cheaply made, and that got picked up by like other things. The budget increased in the second one, but it was still a lower budget. It was under $1 million for the second one.
The second one, that can't be right.
There's no way.
No, I swear.
For D2?
Yes.
That's not even enough to get Arnold to show up for a week.
Oh my God.
And T2, yes, it was.
Holy shit!
T2
If they
was
made
number
T2 for
one.
under $1 million, I'll lose my. Holy God!
What does it say? The Terminator budget was $6.4 million.
There's no way the Terminator 2 was made for $1 million.
Okay, T2 was 100 million.
Only 100 times what you
put
said.
the decimal in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I put the decimal in the wrong spot.
So
Okay, I'm sorry. I had a couple drinks. Lay off me,
okay,
assholes.
so I was right. The budget for the Terminator was $6.4 million.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why
Way
do
more
they
than
consider that an
$300,000.
independent movie?
Yeah.
I just rewatched all the Terminators, and they said that was an independent movie.
It was probably the least budget out of all of them that have been made, but it is nowhere near comparison to $300,000.
All right.
Yeah, by comparison, this is a shoestring budget, but that's, I guess, also a part of why it gets made, which is how a lot of horror movies get made, is because they can do so very cheaply, and a lot of people will go see them. I understand this movie, like it was a weird thing where the studio kind of had it. They had the title first. And the original title was The Babysitter Murders.
Yeah.
That was the original title.
And let me just say,
That's what I want.
Well, not a bad title.
It's not an awful title.
Unless you're being stalked by a psychopath, you're not a real babysitter. Let's be honest.
Oh, like just in life?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
Even in 2021, unless you're being stalked by a psychopath and survive, you're not a real babysitter. Unless that's on your resume. When I have, probably not going to ever have kids. Let's be honest.
And you're probably not going to get to be anybody's babysitter now either.
Yeah. And if I have kids and I need a babysitter, if you're coming to me with a resume for babysitting, and if you have, I babysat from 2017 to 2018, unless it's followed by and survived a psychopath attack, I'm not going to hire you.
That's okay. Nobody's going to want to babysit your kids.
Oh, they're demons. They're for sure demons, which is fine.
Your cats are high maintenance enough, which I've also
Yeah, they're fucking clawing at the door. They want to chew on the Ethernet cable, and it's like, can you guys fucking back off?
Secondly, Connor, I mean, I appreciate anyone who babysat and also survived a psycho murderer.
That's what I
want to continue the profession of babysitting.
Yeah,
that's the real caretaker.
I commend them, and that's
and that's what I'm looking for. I'm
aren't too many of those out there.
Determined, just ready for everything. If you survived,
and they're virgins,
and survived a psychopath attack,
they have to.
So like Michael won't be like, you know what? Because Michael can just like sense that shit, and he's like, oh, word. He's like, you're not having sex. All right, cool. Gotta go out the door. With this
he can smell hymens.
Well, there was only one couple that actually had sex in this film. Her sister did not have sex, but she was fooling around. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Did that get you, Taylor?
The other ones are thinking about it though.
Annie was just horrible. She was just not a very good caretaker at all.
No, she got stuck in a window. Let me just say, was this like the pinpoint for like the stuck like babysitter / stepsister like porn parody?
Wait a minute.
Because she was not stuck. She wasn't stuck.
Her foot was stuck. So like I thought about it today because I rewatched it today. I thought about
Yeah, I get stuck in the water all the time.
The way that her foot was stuck like that, she couldn't come back to grab her foot to take it out. So she needed somebody to come in to move her foot out from being stuck in between the rack.
She did also lock herself inside this weird laundry shack.
She locked herself in.
Yeah, she was waiting.
What's the little girl's name?
I don't remember the girl's name, but she is like, hey, idiot, you locked yourself in here.
Yeah.
It's like, what doors are set up to lock you in from your side?
Yeah, she was waiting.
And then she's like, we're not going to tell anybody
What are you doing, Michael Myers?
Oh no, I'm so stuck. I
And
hope
speaking-
that happens.
And speaking of making mistakes, isn't like the movie? Everyone wants Lori to be like that typical, like, oh, go out and do it. And she's like, oh no, I have responsibility and I need to go babysit these kids. I have to be a good person.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, yo, can you like go bang? It's like, stop.
Like, let's stop talking about doing it and just do it.
Right. And the one time you see someone do it, it's like very quick, like it didn't last.
That's how it is.
Like,
that's how it is, Chris.
That is how it is. It's right there from the beginning.
Comment.
Literally, Michael watches him go upstairs, and before he can even like get back in the house, dude's going back down the stairs to leave. It's like,
the best scene ever is when he stabs him, like lifts him up and stabs him
with
against
one
the
hand.
cabinet.
He picked him up with one hand.
it's a great kill.
Oh man, that was the best. That's
Talk about like iconic, because it's the best kill in the whole movie. Because everybody else is all like strangled or the poor pup. Which, by the way, I have a gripe with Michael Myers by that bullshit.
Michael loves killing dogs.
He picks the dude up with one hand, and he's like, "Oh yeah, stab him so hard he stays on the wall." Yeah. He's a frame. Yeah. He's a picture frame now on the wall.
Yeah, he's wall art. It is a great. Here's what I'll say. I just think about this, that this is true for this film in general, which is almost kind of surprising when you think back to Halloween and you think of how, this is sort of the ignition of the slasher explosion, how violent and intense those movies are. It's like this movie's pretty restrained and pretty patient. Like it's like a short movie, relatively speaking, but it really takes its sweet time to get to what becomes just the slasher half of the movie. Like the back, like it's kind of the entire back half of the movie is like, okay, Michael's killing people. But we really take our time to inch up to that point. You get to see everybody's lives. You get to see Haddonfield. You get to kind of cozy in the suburbs, which is also an aspect of this movie that I think is really well executed. And we'll kind of talk about it later as we talk about the ending of the film. But it really takes its time to set up Lori, what her life is like, what it's like to be a normal kid in Haddonfield, way before you get into any of the crazy slasher stuff. You cut back to Loomis, who's like on his little road trip across country tracking Michael, which he's very good at. He owns in exactly on the like garage where he steals his jumpsuit. He's very good at tracking that young man. But it really takes its time before it becomes what you immediately think of Halloween as being, which is, the lights are out and we're running through the house and Michael Myers is here.
What have they added for TV, Davis?
I did read about this, and I don't, to the best of my knowledge, I've not seen when they were going to start like syndicating it for television. They needed to be a little bit longer to fit the 2-hour block. So while shooting Halloween 2, they shot additional scenes that they edited back into this movie for the TV edit, which is
that's rad.
Interesting, right? That doesn't really, usually you're taking stuff out for TV, not putting stuff in. And I think it's it's more expository stuff. Like I think there's something with Loomis at like the school that Michael went to, or it's more Loomis stuff. It's more Loomis talking about how much he wants to kill Michael Myers.
Because Pleasance loved that. I bet he loved doing that shit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, extra Loomis scenes, mostly exposition about Michael. To the best of my knowledge, I've not seen that. The Blu-ray copy I have definitely doesn't have those scenes in. Maybe they're in a bonus thing or something like that. We also got Peggy Gubbins in the chat. Greetings from New York City. Greetings from New York City. I might be saying something similar right back at you in a couple hours here. It's gonna be a long morning in a few hours. But
yeah,
I've got some traveling to do tomorrow morning. But anyway,
tomorrow night I'm going to Indiana, so I'm with you.
What the fuck? I move out and you're gonna go to the Hoosier State? What the hell?
Yeah, I'm going for the weekend. I'm going to a wedding, getting very fucked up.
You?
Me?
You're gonna let loose like that? Well, good for you.
Me getting loose?
Yeah,
I don't know who you are anymore, Connor. What the fuck?
What were we talking about? Oh, how patient and how kind of reserved the movie is. Jessica, I know you. We watched this as you must on Halloween last year. I think
my first time. That was yeah. I have never seen it, any of the Halloween movies. And then last year on Halloween, we decided to watch it after the children went to bed, of course. And in true Jessica fashion, I screamed and was very scared.
You did, which made me happy because to me it was sort of gratifying to see that the movie in some aspects did hold up well enough that it could still work on you, you know?
Yeah. But then the second, I mean, there were, after like the first like couple initial scares, I think I actually did laugh a couple times because I was like, wow, this is so ridiculous.
Which is a natural reaction to horror movies, is like being scared to the point.
Well, I'm a big scaredy cat, so I get scared very, very easily, especially when it comes to horror films. So it was not out of character for me to behave that way. But when we watched it again this past week, and then we put it on again today, and I did jump.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah, I did.
Which part?
When Annie gets revealed on the bed with the tombstone.
With the tombstone.
I think it's not Paul, but it's the other guy.
Bob
comes down from the ceiling, swinging down. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
That's another fascinating thing about Michael Myers. He's really into staging the scene. Like
you got to appreciate that. He's artistic.
There's a lot of craftsmanship, which again, it makes you want to like figure him out a little bit more, because you're like, okay, so there's some sort of like conscious train of thought going on behind the mask. It's like he must get some sort of thrill out of people finding the bodies like that, because it's like he could just leave, the girl in the car, leave the girl dead on the floor next to the bed, but it's like, no, he's like, I'm gonna stage this, and it's gonna be like a 1, 2, 3 punch when Laurie gets in here. She's gonna see girl in the bed, girl, guy on the ceiling, girl in the closet, and then boom, I'm gonna go there, and it's gonna be so sick when it happens. Like,
yeah, and
so
he
fucking
obviously thought about this beforehand because he already had the tombstone, like
right
before.
Where was that at this whole time?
How did he pick that up?
Heavy. Does that have to be?
Well, we know
he's not human.
He's not human.
Supposedly.
That's what's great. I love that without ever confirming anything beyond just Loomis's crazy ass tirades. There's never anything to say like, oh, he's possessed or he's super duper. Like he's just that fucking evil.
Just a dude.
That he can just do whatever he needs to do to be as evil as possible, including just ripping a gravestone out of the earth with his hands, throwing it in the back of some station wagon, and driving to Haddonfield with it. It's just
and I'm not sure if it like plays more to it or if it takes away from it, because in the beginning we actually see him as a little boy. So I can't help but think like, wait, on one side, this is a little boy. How can a little boy be so evil and do these awful things, where it plays to it? But then on the other side, it's like, no, it's somebody else. Like it's not this little boy. No.
Which is a stark contrast to like, well, down the line, later on in the month, we'll talk about Rob Zombie's horror movie Halloween. But
dear God.
But yeah, because I've not seen it, but I understand his entire take is in contrast to that of like, let's do a character study of Michael Myers, right?
Yes, which I appreciate. I like it.
It's something different for the series. I'll give that much credit. I'm excited to check it out. It's the weird blind spot in all these movies that I have, but I think this one's strength, and Carpenter gets it, is keeping Michael completely void of empathy and imperceivable and what he's doing, and never letting you get just a quick glimpse when Laurie takes up, and never getting to see under that mask once he puts it on.
Can we talk about that for a second? How beautiful Michael Myers is. like when Laurie like gets the mask off of him, and you see him momentarily like on light, and Loomis is like, "Oh, you're beautiful!" Boom, shot. Get them.
This doesn't happen in the movie.
It does.
No, you see his face.
You do see
in
his
this
face.
movie.
Yeah,
it's not a big like well lit money shot or anything, but you do. There's this like towards the end as they're like they're struggling for the last time.
You guys are fucking with me.
No, it's true.
No, he's got great eyes.
I've literally watched it twice this week. How did I miss this?
No,
quick.
it's in the movie, and he's got beautiful eyes.
He's a beautiful man.
Which I forget who's playing.
Not
Michael
deformed
Myers.
at all. It's just a regular dude.
Which you would automatically, like, as a person that had never seen these movies, I automatically assumed that he was like this deformed figure of a person,
You
kind
would
of like
think
the
so, right?
Phantom. Like, that's kind of how I thought it. I don't know why I correlated
why he
like
has the
masked
mask
figure
on.
to another masked figure would be somebody that's deformed.
Well, you might be thinking of Jason, because Jason's very deformed. Is his part?
I've never
Jason's,
watched
like,
any of those movies
mutated.
either. I've never watched any of those either, so I have no idea. I
You're
just
not-
think
you're
like
not
your
missing
mask,
anything.
you're wearing a mask because you're uglier.
I'm kidding.
I'm so sorry, that's not true. I don't mean that in any sense in reality, but I just correlate it to that with when it comes to horror movies or movies in general. So when I saw the little boy in the beginning, I was like, this is a cute little nugget.
Little pinch cheeks.
Cute little nugget just murdered a couple people.
Yeah, but I love that they give you that much because you start from like, okay, he was a human being, then huge question mark. Now he's Michael Myers. Like, and there's nothing in between other than he met crazy ass Donald Pleasance, who was like, I tried really hard to connect with this kid.
Yeah, I tried teaching him how to not drive, but somehow he learned how to drive.
I just gave up trying to connect with this kid. He is irredeemable. He's evil. Like, but I love Loomis's conviction in it. There's no shaking his belief and his theory. He's like, that is his religion. That is his reason for living, is to spread the gospel. You can't save this kid. Kill him. I just want to kill. He's like, I don't care. He escaped because I get to kill him. Like, he just wants to snuff the evil out of this earth, and he can't.
Also, how did Loomis know it was Michael Myers when he like hopped up on the car? How did he know?
He did treat him, so he would know who he was.
He knows his capability.
But you don't see his face. You don't see who jumped up on the car and who ran away. There's 100 different fucking patients in this like fucking like field, and he's like, that was evil.
That's what
It's like, how do you know?
That's his whole life. It's his whole life.
But honestly, that's what I really enjoyed about this movie is that John Carpenter never felt the need to like explain every single thing in this film, which I kind of takes away from the magic in most films, as they just over explain everything, and then you get kind of lost in it a little bit. You want that kind of mystery in it, where you can interpret it into your own ways. So I
enjoyed it. It's just something that when I saw it, I was just like, How did he know that one patient was Michael Myers?
How did Michael Myers know how to drive?
Because he's a fucking genius, and he's the equivalent to Dom Toretto, and that's why there needs to be a crossover movie. You're both in the Universal catalog, so why is there not a Michael Myers versus Dom Toretto Fast and Furious meets Halloween movie? That is what I'm campaigning for, and that's what I don't understand. And I think pretty much everybody can get on board with that.
100%. Anyway, so one of my favorite shots of the film, I'm just brought back to it because we were talking about the scene where he jumps on the car. And it's true, Shug, you just know when evil jumps on your car. I'm telling you, the reason he knew is because for 15 years, I treated him for 15 years, and he never spoke a word. Like, that's how he knows.
He knew those feet.
He knows those feet.
He was like, I know those feet. That was Michael.
Anytime, I get the sense, anytime Loomis is not trying to kill Michael Myers, all he's doing is thinking about killing Michael Myers. Like, that is what sustains him. One of the best, in my opinion, of the film, because it freaks me out every time, is towards the start of the film when they're pulling that car up in the rain and you're hearing the score for the first time, and you see everybody just wandering around in their white outfits. There's just such an innate fucking, something super wrong when you see it. Like, wandering around in the rain outside of a mental institution, and Loomis is just immediately like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, who let them out? Like, he's just so accusatory. I love that I just love that start to Loomis's story. I think that shot is so creepy. It gives me the chills every time I see them wandering around outside. They let the patients drive periodically.
That's how we knew them feet, because he was watching them feet hit the gas and the brake. And it's like, no, it was Loomis that was teaching them how to drive. That makes so much sense now.
Well, I also wonder if Loomis was like this before he had him as a patient, because maybe that just gives the idea that like evil spreads.
No, Loomis wasn't like
sorry.
this before he met Michael. He met Michael, and then Michael made fun of his hairline, and then Loomis was like,
"He never said a word.
This kid." I kind of hope I get him better, but if I don't, he did make fun of my hairline, so
I was
I'll kill
trying
him.
to make like a serious observation, and then Connor just comes in like, "No, his hairline is all fucked
Anyone that
up."
makes fun of my hairline, I'll go Michael Myers.
Connor, I don't know if you know this, but Michael Myers didn't say a word for 15 years. 15 years he didn't say a word, and he had doll's eyes, black, evil.
No, he's covering up.
He wrote it down
because he doesn't want to draw attention to his bald head.
He wrote him a letter.
So he's like, yeah, he didn't say shit to me for 15 years. But in reality, every day he went to that institution, Michael was like, hey, you bald-headed fuck, what's on the menu for today? Like, what are we going to talk about? My mom? Let's go for it. You're bald. That's what he did for 15 years straight. Guarantee it.
Can we talk about how Michael Myers is a king of teleportation? How he, at 2 points in this movie that I want to pinpoint. One of them being one of the more iconic of the two, when he's just in with all the laundry hanging, he's just standing there, and Laurie's like, "Oh," and then it cuts back to her. Yeah, during the day, it cuts back to her, and cuts back to the laundry, and he's gone. Like, she watched him just like walk away. But you know,
I would love to see that point of view where he's just like, fuck.
Right, just
he looked away. Fuck. Let's go.
Just hauling ass around the house and like peeking up, seeing if she noticed.
Like when he's behind the bushes and they come around.
Yeah, he's not there. Those bushes were so long.
He's like, fuck, they're coming.
Like, hearing him breathe.
He is an athlete.
He's around the corner of that house and he's like,
hands on the knees.
Into the bushes.
He's got to pull that mask up. Like sweaty ass rubber mask. Smelling.
That mask probably smells like shit.
So smelly.
Yeah,
you know, Michael was
doesn't brush
smelly
his
as
teeth.
shit.
You know he doesn't brush his teeth.
I think we've all become intensely familiar with what it's like to catch our own breath in a mask lately.
Yeah.
So bad.
Shit
we
stinky.
sympathize with Michael Myers.
Shit stinky.
I bought more gum in 2020
Yeah.
than I have in my whole entire life.
You become aware of yourself in ways that you always had been.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up, Chris, because I think one of the best. We're talking about how patient this movie is. One of the best sort of sequences throughout is Michael Myers is wandering around the suburbs, just following Laurie. So many great ominous shots and tension building shots, like you said, him in the laundry, the hedge. And even later, when he starts actually interacting with people, you get those great shots of like you catch a reflection of the mask outside the window, and then they turn back in the tracking shot, and he's gone. Like just stuff you think of as so basic. I think these days Carpenter's figuring out for the first time, all the way up to the very first shot, which is this amazing tracking shot on a steady cam. First person becomes such a horror staple and a slasher staple, seeing from the killer's perspective. I mean, I was comparing it to Jaws earlier because like Loomis's whole it's like Quint from Jaws, just with a man instead of a shark. But like, from that, like that has the, the camera coming up, you're the shark, to build tension as you go to the legs. And this is full of first person shots where so much of the tension is confirming for you that Michael's there long before we even get to the main event of him, grabbing you in the car or stabbing people or any of that stuff.
That was a good LOL moment for me too. Speaking of laughing in movies, and he pops up in the back seat, he's like, "Surprise, bitch!" and he starts joking her. Like that got a good laugh out of me. Scary, but I laughed really hard. Especially on rewatch. And
a pretty simple, like relatively grounded kill scene, right? Like strangles her and then, slashes the throat with the knife.
Yeah.
A pretty, like that's something a human being could do. Like they really slowly escalate to the point where like, okay, this guy isn't just human. He's going to fucking kebab you in the wall. Like,
and even like in the sound, like you see him, like you only hear his breathing. And
That's
that's
amazing.
gore.
An amazing touch. Yeah.
Right. It adds to that. Like I laughed at it, but it's really well done.
Yeah, probably a little bit asthmatic, but brilliant touch.
He's tired.
Again, it's like it's the I don't know why I keep going back to Jaws. I didn't know I associated the two movies so closely, but it's what the music in Jaws does. But it's the breathing in this, which I think is even better. And I see my internet threatening to give out, so sorry if I freeze at any moment here.
You're good,
but the breathing is so good because it's not, I forget, is diegetic noise in the movie or outside the movie? I don't know. I can't remember, but it's this great noise that's in the movie that only you can hear and the characters can't. And it's all you need to hear to build tension is that breathing, because you're like, oh my God.
That's diegetic, right? I can't remember anything from film school besides giving you and Nick giant bags of popcorn. That's all I remember. And I remember the short film we made, the silent film that we made that made me physically ill.
Aw, thanks, Shug. That's another movie we just watched.
We did just watch Beetlejuice.
We just watched Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is great.
I watched that movie for the first time this year.
Oh my!
Really?
Wow.
Did you love it? You would love it, right?
I loved Beetlejuice.
Loved it.
That was so good.
I watched it on a plane.
Scene. The dinner scene.
That whole movie, like I didn't get it. I never got Beetlejuice, but now I get it. Like
You
now,
get
it
now,
it's
yeah,
rad. It's
yeah.
very, very cool.
Yeah, we were watching. I was like, wow, this is the same person that was Batman.
Yeah,
right. Right.
I was like, wow, okay.
He's Batman again.
Yeah, he's Batman again, and I don't know. They've been threatening to make him Beetlejuice again for years. So
threatening. They've
been saying they were going to make Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian for like 20 years now. So I don't know whether they'll actually pull the trigger on that. But anyway, Halloween.
Yes, back to it.
Yes, not Beetlejuice, but this movie. It's like I mentioned it earlier. Like it's just from a filmmaking standpoint, it's really well done, and the acting, like Donald Pleasance, he's the only real big name actor in this, at least at the time. Definitely. And he adds so much to it just by him being there. And I mean, it launched like what I mentioned earlier. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, like her performance in this is like for her first big flick, like that big with that less than $500,000 budget, like it launched her into superstardom. Like we don't like Jamie Lee Curtis is so prolific and such a big name now. We know her from all these different things, but without Halloween, we may not know who she is.
Back in that Starlight now, where she's making her rounds for Halloween Kills, and people are like, "Why are you so fucking cool?" And she's like, "I don't know. I don't want to fucking be here." Like she's maintained that level of coolness. And she's like the original final girl, and she's just so cool. And she like holds that with like a sense of modesty, where she's just maintaining that coolness. And then, Chris, you mentioned the simplicity of the movie. And I think that's why horror movies are making a resurgence this decade, is because movies are going back to the simplicity of like Halloween, where you have like the It Follows and Hereditary, where they don't really explain things. They just let you draw your own conclusions. Like with It Follows, there's never a solid conclusion of what it is. And I think that's what is making the resurgence, is because movies are going back to simplicity. Like without explaining everything. And I think that's great. I'd rather not know everything, even though sometimes it's nice to know, but the simplicity is really nice.
And I mean, in '78, when this movie was made, or when it came out, I mean, I wasn't alive in 1978, but
you weren't?
I was not. 19 years later, then that was me. Oh, but when it came out, I bet just also how human it is, because we don't know, at least now, since we have all these sequels and now we have an idea of where the hell Michael Myers' powers come from, if we still do after all these years. But at the time, it was just a guy. It was just a dude. And that is because it could just be anybody. And maybe that also appealed to the horror aspect of why Michael Myers is so terrifying. It's a dude in a jumpsuit and a mask. And that's why you see all these guys every Halloween come out in the blue jumpsuit and the mask. Not only because it's iconic, but it could be real, you know? And that used to scare the shit out of me. Like before I knew like Laurie's Michael's sister, and it goes all into its own shit. And then there's the guy making the toys, and then Paul Rudd shows up later. It's this whole thing. But it's so easy, and I shouldn't say easy. It's very basic. Like kind of used basic earlier. Like it's just a movies are basic. Well, shit. Like it had to come from somewhere. And if Halloween is like the epitome of how basic things can be, but for the better, for like a good basic, not basic has a negative connotation. It's not really that in this case. Like I think the movie sticks out amongst the bunch, even all these years later.
It's almost like a how-to guide for, I don't know, slasher horror films then.
Well, even just, shoestring budget indie film, like they're seriously like flying by the seat of their pants, like can't afford lights. Like you said, Connor, just coming up with shit on the fly. There's like, they had no money for extras, which is why Haddonfield's like a borderline ghost town. Like there's only the people in the scene. That's it. There's nobody in the background. Like it
was shot in California, and it's supposed to be in October, and they filmed it in the spring. So they like took a bunch of leaves, spray painted them, and then like threw them down in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So like they did a ton of stuff just by like you said, the fly of their seat. Like they just improvised in pretty much every shot to make it. And it was supposed to be over 3 nights, but they were like, we don't have the budget for that. Let's keep it one wardrobe. Let's keep it one night. Let's make it Halloween because that's spooky. Literally what they said. They were like, Halloween spooky. Let's make it Halloween. And I think that was one night on Halloween night. That saves the budget. We'll spray paint a bunch of leaves. Like, genius.
There's also like a nostalgic part to it where you're carving pumpkins, and you're making jack-o'-lanterns, and you're staying up late, eating candy or popcorn and watching scary movies. There's a lot of parts of the movie where you can actually relate to it, which is really nice.
Yeah, that is something that Haddonfield keeps doing through all the movies, is they just love decorating for Halloween.
They love Halloween, even though Halloween has fucked them over.
Yeah, after a certain point, it feels very morbid to be like, well, time to decorate, go out and dress up. And every couple of years, I don't know, this guy comes back to this town and kills a bunch of people. Hope it's not one of those banner years. They love Halloween though, which is, I mean, you love to see it. I feel like every single year, see less and less people decorate for Halloween. It's a damn shame. See, we got something like this. They got jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. They got a real jack-o'-lantern on their bedside table. That's very weird.
Very weird.
That's got to be smelly, like
I like the smell of pumpkin.
But imagine you have a cut up pumpkin just sitting on your bedside table for days. That's an outside decoration. You don't put that inside. You could do one like a fake one over here. This is the same one I used last year. But you put a real one on there?
I mean, why not?
It brings that light for doing the deed.
Bugs are going to show up.
You're going to get fruit flies.
You can have a rotten vegetable on your bedside table, and you're going to put a candle in it, so it's going to get very hot, very stinky.
I bet pumpkin smells a lot better than sweaty booty hole.
Well, that's true.
Facts.
You saying I have a sweaty booty hole?
I didn't say your sweaty booty hole. We're talking about all the sex that's happening.
When they're doing the deed next to the pumpkin.
Yeah, they're slamming cheeks.
Yo, speaking of that scene too, when after Michael kills the dude, he comes back in the bed sheet with the glasses on.
What a bit! Are we going to talk about the same thing?
He's funny as hell.
I can't believe we almost, because
Michael's funny as hell.
That's a fascinating insight to his character, because you're like, oh, he has like a weird sense of humor.
And she flashed him. She was
and he's like, "You're dead now."
Did you read about the behind the scenes of this?
I don't think so.
Was it as funny as I thought it was?
That actress was dating Dennis Quaid during the time. Dennis Quaid was supposed to play that character.
Bob, yeah.
Yeah. And they went to a screening of it, And when she says, "Do you like what you see?" some guy in front of them was like, "Hell yeah, I do." And Dennis Quaid wanted to fight him, and the actress was like, "No, don't. It's okay. Like I'm flattered." And I'm just like, holy shit! Dennis Quaid almost fought a dude over.
He's always been nuts
Halloween.
then. Oh, okay, cool.
pretty
So Dennis
intense.
Quaid's always been a problem. Got it.
Imagine if you're having a fun time at the movies, so much so you're yelling at boobs on screen, and then you're getting attacked by Dennis Quaid.
Are you telling me you've never yelled at boobs in a movie theater?
I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Nah, I haven't either.
Don't lie, Connor. Don't lie now.
You're right. You're right. I went to see 50 Shades of Grey, and every scene I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I love the ghost thing because it's like he didn't need an excuse to get in the room and get close to her. Like it's really not a strategic thing. It's
You could have just ran in there and stabbed her.
No,
Yeah.
he was just.
But he was like,
fun.
I'm gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
There is some weird like performance quality to what he does.
Yeah, he's an artist.
Definitely.
Let's not sugarcoat it. He's an artist.
He's
And let's respect him.
definitely
artist.
likes the performance. If he likes to drag it out and stalk the people he's killing, he's making a performance out of it.
Yeah, he's an artist.
It's not just about the body count. Like Jason Voorhees is like, there's artistry to Jason Voorhees and the creativity of his kills, but it's very much walk through the fucking wall and just kill everybody in the room. Michael,
I mean, you got Da Vinci, and then you got like Banksy, and then you have and then you have Myers, right?
Yeah, the three greats. The top
Da Vinci, Banksy, and Myers. Yeah.
Banksy.
No, but that the sheet with the touch was the glasses.
The sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah, the glasses.
He doesn't need those glasses. He
took dude's glasses.
And then put the glasses on.
It's the same thing to me as thinking of him like stopping at a red light. The deliberation of him getting that sheet somewhere in the house, cutting out the holes.
He couldn't see shit. I guarantee he could not see shit out of those glasses. I've put on Olivia's glasses, and I can't see shit.
Well, these were glasses from the 70s.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but he has black eyes, all black. So I don't know what his prescription.
Oh yeah, I don't know his vision stance, but I put on someone else's glasses, and I don't normally wear glasses. And when I put on those glasses, I can't see shit.
Then beautiful blue eyes.
That boy was seeing like triple.
Well, think about this too. Glasses.
Grade A.
Glasses over sheet over Halloween mask, and then he's under that. So he's got multi-layers. Like
the man's a genius.
He suffered for his art.
He suffered for his art, which brings me back to Da Vinci, Banksy, and then and then you got Myers, right?
I really did enjoy,
great.
Even though I thought the kill with the phone,
that's fun.
That I mean, yeah, it was kind of weak, but yeah, it was fun. But I did enjoy the part where like she was sliding down and then he's like revealed.
Yes.
You know, I thought that was pretty dope.
And I like this part again. There's so many questions to ask about him that I think it makes this movie great. He does this weird thing where he doesn't say anything, but he picks up the phone and kind of does this like hello pose. Like he's having a fun time in that house before Laurie gets there. Like Laurie's the goal. He's like, I'm gonna really try when Laurie gets here. But up until then, he's like, I'm just gonna fuck around and see what happens.
Yeah. He's been locked up. He's like, I'm gonna have a party.
I'm gonna strangle this dog. He eats a dog. Do you catch that part?
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
When they go to his house, Loomis and Sheriff Brackett, who's another.
Was it a dog or was it a? I thought it was like a rodent.
No, it's a dog.
Yeah, they say there's a dog up there, and Loomis very like offhandedly says like, "Guess he got hungry." He ate that dog while he was living in that house again. Which I should also mention Charles Cyphers, who plays Sheriff Brackett, another frequent Carpenter collaborator. He's in Precinct 13 before this. He's in this. He shows up in the sequel, of course. He's at least in a couple other ones too.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke and Lawrence Fishburne are in the remake of Precinct 13, which is great. I remember watching that on DVD Brought home early from Family Video. Family Video shout out. Wish you guys were still here, but you're not.
So
Rest
sad.
in peace.
R.I.P. R.I.P. on a big gravestone that you pull out of the ground and throw in a stranger's bed because they're that fucking pissed.
The dogs. No, but I have my gripe with Michael Myers. Like he's killed many a dog. Like
he kills a lot of animals.
Why?
And at a certain point I'm like,
Because he's a psycho.
Yeah, whatever.
But he's funny.
Kill all the humans you want, but leave the animals alone.
Isn't it the thing with the sociopaths is they start with animals and then they upgrade to humans?
He started with the sister.
We don't know that. It could have.
You're right.
We don't
know. He killed a cat before then.
Could have been eating dogs before that. You never know.
Oh, fuck. I really hope that when that line was included in the script, it was just like, oh, maybe he got hungry. Like it was a joke. But rewatching it again, I'm like, nah, he meant that. He definitely meant, oh, maybe he got hungry. So he's gonna eat the damn dog.
Loomis ain't joking. Okay, Michael has set up a good bit.
Evil.
Loomis ain't joking ever. He's never messing around.
There were some like over the top ridiculous things in this, like the whole butter thing on her clothes. Like she had to take off all her clothes because she got butter on her clothes and washed it.
And Michael's watching it.
Yeah, I've been there. I've gotten butter on my clothes. I gotta strip down.
Oh my god!
I believe that because I was watching it.
I'm butt ass naked, and I get a phone call. Butter does it to your clothes. You get butter on you, you gotta strip down.
If she wasn't wearing a bra, Michael's just like,
When are you wearing a bra, bud?
I mean, it's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. You get butter on your shirt, you're not wearing a bra. You take that shirt off, you got titties out.
If you spill butter on you, you're not wearing a bra.
No, it always happens that way.
That's why you need to take your pants off too.
Right. Yes, in the kitchen. Yes. In the kitchen.
Yes, you can't just be topless and then wear sweatpants. I get butter on me. It's shirt off, pants off. Gotta change. But then I get a phone call. And then a serial killer comes in.
No,
it happens. It happens. I follow that logic and I understand it.
Clearly.
Shug's with me. He understands.
Shug doesn't know anything.
Butter is the enemy in this. Butter's the real enemy.
Butter's the enemy.
Butter's the real enemy.
Let's talk about the final sequence of this.
Let's talk about Butter.
Apparently, I can't remember it because you see his face in the final sequence.
Briefly. Ever so briefly.
Yeah, let's talk about the big final sort of. First of all, I feel like we haven't given enough love to just Laurie as a character.
Yeah, she's great.
Who obviously Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, first of all, how many actors? I really can't even think of another example. Hit the scene with a character that they're playing 40 years later because people like it so much. Like that. She's coming out in a movie in a few days playing this character, and this is a movie from 1978. She's 20 years old when she shoots this, and now she's got children, grandchildren potentially.
And she still looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Truly a queen if there ever were one.
Bitch. Bad bitch.
She's a bad bitch.
She is. We must stand. She's the baddest. She's amazing. And they do a great job of making Laurie feel truly altruistic, right? Everybody's preoccupied with fucking or their stupid jokes or going to the
smoking
weed, going to the dance with Ben Tramer, which by the way, I'll just mention now, because we're not doing an episode on Halloween 2. Do you guys remember how Ben Tramer comes back in Halloween 2?
No, I haven't seen Halloween 2 in forever.
So I'll jog your memory a little bit here because we hear about Ben Tramer in this movie, but we never see him. There's a scene in Halloween 2 where, Loomis is going nuts and he's got the police department all riled up, trying to kill Michael Myers. And they see Michael Myers crossing the street. And then a police car comes out of nowhere and runs him over and hits another car and explodes. And later when they do the autopsy, they figure out this isn't Michael Myers. This is some kid named Ben Tramer, they said. Watching them back to back, that was such a great little weird Easter egg where not only does Laurie have to deal with all her friends getting killed and being chased by a killer, she also has to deal with the guy she has a crush on being hit by a cop and exploding. The same explodes wearing a Michael Myers Halloween mask. It's just such what a weird little referential Easter egg. I almost wish I uploaded a clip of it because it's so amazing when he explodes. It's so silly. There's nothing in this movie like that.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It's definitely like, hey, we got a little extra money. We're gonna put an explosion in the sequel. You got to put an explosion.
Oh my gosh, she's having a rough night.
She's having an awful 24 hours.
Just wait till the new one comes out. We're gonna see how bad her night gets.
Yeah, she has an awful day. Then the new continuity. She has an awful day.
The first sequence in full, pretty much. And it's like, Jesus Christ, give this lady a break.
Well, she does. In the new continuity, she has a really bad day, and she gets a 40-year break, and then she has another really bad day.
Oh no.
That's the new continuity.
And it gets worse.
And presumably it's going to get worse. Yeah.
It gets so much worse, but that's the new one. And y'all talking about that later this month, right?
Yes. Well, we will get to Halloween Kills.
Yeah, we get to go see that in theaters. How exciting.
Good luck.
Oh my God.
It's also on Peacock.
Boo! No.
No, he's gonna want to go to the movies and gonna sit in the dark.
Yes.
Where everything's
every time I've gone to a theater during the pandemic, it's been just chaos.
Oh, I've not had that. I don't
think it's been just people talking the whole entire runtime, and that's not an exaggeration. That is the whole entire runtime. People have been talking, so I'm fine watching movies at home because I don't gotta worry about anything.
People forgot how to fucking act.
They really have.
We've had pretty good luck at the movies. I mean, I think the craziest has been is when we went and saw Venom.
Yeah, people were loving Venom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They really were. It was like a packed house.
It was packed.
It's packed house. People loved it.
I would assume so. Ben is alive in the current timeline by all.
Right. Yeah, because the only ones that are canon are the two ones properly named Halloween, and then this one.
I really hope, because Halloween Kills, this whole thing, right, is like we're bringing people back. Like, I think Charles Cyphers is coming back to play Sheriff Brackett, and like they got Nick Castle playing the Shape, and like I hope they kill Ben Tramer again in Halloween Kills
the same way.
You know what's fucked up? That they couldn't get Paul Rudd because he was doing Ghostbusters.
So, did they actually ask him? Because obviously,
he was supposed to come back.
Oh, that's a shame.
But he was too busy filming Ghostbusters at the same time.
That is such baloney. Do you have any idea how many actors come out with like 3 movies in 1 year?
They could have gave him a couple days off.
They could have
They could have. I'm sure they could have. And this new movie would be on the top of my list if Paul Rudd was in it.
Who is playing? Is it the original actor?
Michael something. He was in the Dead Zone series.
Is it? Let me see who plays little Tommy.
Halloween
Brian Andrews plays Tommy.
It's not the same guy. It's Michael C. Hall. No.
What's the name of the boy?
Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony
Michael Hall.
Okay, so they did get like an actor people know. So
he's in that.
Judy Greer's in the movie.
You'll see Judy Greer when we watch that one later.
Yeah, you'll see Judy Greer in that that movie's gnarly. I know. I don't want to jump too far ahead, and I don't want y'all's thoughts on it because y'all can do an episode later. Yeah. But my quick 2 cents of 2018's Halloween fucking rules. Terrifying, but it fucking rules.
It fucking rules.
It's really kick-ass.
Inclined to agree.
It's a great sequel to this movie. It really not only pays homage to this flick, but it adds so much more kick-ass.
And you know what's crazy? The little girl that Lori is babysitting ends up playing a different character in Rob Zombie's Halloween, but is playing the same character in this movie in Halloween Kills.
Gotta make that money, baby.
Welcome to the Halloween timelines. It's not confusing at all.
Comes out in 1 week. Exactly 1 week. That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
So the end of the movie.
The final showdown.
Let's get to that.
You guys were talking about theatrical experiences. I did see a clip recently where somebody edited in the audio of like a screening in 1978 of people watching the last like 2-3 minutes of this movie for the first time. It was so cool to hear people. I have that with certain movies where it's like, man, I would love to just go back and sit in a theater and a time where nobody saw anything like this before. And just hearing people scream and kind of like laugh when they get scared, and all the chatter.
Like Sonic.
What?
Like Sonic.
Did you say Locks? Oh no.
No,
Sonic
not like Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Not like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
Hearing people react to this for the first time.
Yeah.
Because you got to think horror wasn't really like this yet. Like it was a lot of ghost movies. You had Psycho with Hitchcock, and you had Chainsaw Massacre. You had Black Christmas, which is also we talked about that on our Black Christmas episode. Also, like a really big indirect influence on this movie in a couple of ways. But nobody had really seen something like this. And there's the scene where after you think you get a couple false ends where you think Michael's done, right? And you're seeing this movie for the first, like now we're so trained to know like he's not done, he's getting back up. But when you saw this movie for the first time in 1978 and he gets stabbed in the fucking neck and stabbed in the eye and he's getting shot and you see him sit up, everybody starts freaking out. And I'm like,
I didn't know they carried the scars from him being stabbed into the 2018 movie.
Yeah, the 2018.
When they first show up in the psychiatric, the like podcasters.
Fucking podcasters.
Weird. Fucking podcasters. They show up to the psychiatric unit, and when they show the backside of Michael, like standing in the courtyard, you can see the scar on his neck from the sewing needle going into his neck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 2018 one's very much about being like the perfect continuity companion for this one. It's very into doing that, which seems to be true for the newest one as well, just from the trailers and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool hearing people react to that. Well, what is so familiar now that they'd never seen before was so cool to hear. And it's like, oh man, I fucking wish. Like same as I was
so blind from what this movie had created to be able to experience it like the like tropes that we're so used to now, to experience those for the first time would be amazing.
It was really cool to hear and see. The ending sequence of this is so much fun, right?
It kicks a lot of ass
when it's just the two of them and it's like, okay, this is the show you came to see. Like very simple, obviously not super flashy, but just again, the entire movie the execution is so clean and clever. It's just great. And it's very simple. He keeps missing, by the way. He's not very good at killing Laurie.
No.
I think also
he's missing.
But I also think that she is probably one of those very few characters that actually is smart,
Right.
Like she punches a hole into the glass of the door so that she could move the rack that he set up to trap her into the kitchen. And she opened the door in the bedroom that led out to the balcony or whatever, where the window is. And then she locked herself in the closet thinking he would think that she went out. So I think she like kind of,
she's smart.
Is like almost like a half a step ahead, just a little bit to like get away, which he probably isn't used to for the sex crazed teenagers that he killed earlier.
Exactly.
So.
And not only is she a survivor, but she's truly like an altruist. What's she always do before getting out of Dodge? She's making sure the kids are okay and out of the way. She's like, let me save the kids and then let me let Michael focus on me and like trying to get away.
Because she's not thinking about sex. Her mind can think about how to get away.
Yeah, she's a prude.
That really is kind of what it is, though. It's like Carpenter said, well, I didn't mean to make like a morality play where like, the sex having teenagers will get murdered. But, even with his intention of like, well, the reason Laurie is the survivor is because she's not distracted by all this, she's very goal oriented and smart and attentive. It's like, oh, I guess it is still kind of those kids be fucking. So
those kids be fucking. But also that's why I always keep a butcher knife duct taped to my back when I'm in coitus.
Duly noted.
Fucking weird.
Do you have it on right now?
Do
you have it on right now?
Yeah.
Can you?
Because
that scene of when she traps herself in the closet and she, first of all, Michael like rocking the damn door is nuts, and she gets the hanger and stabs him in the eye. that's kick ass. That's
It's also
real
it's
life
also-
Survivor.
It's interesting that Michael doesn't fall for her trick for a second. He goes right to the closet. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
That's like
No hesitation.
She's smart for trying, but he's also like, not gonna work on me. I know you're
Maybe
in there.
he thought, well, I'm gonna try this closet real quick, and if it's locked, then I know she's in here.
But also, anytime he like touched the door, she was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, she did need to pipe down for that to work.
The sound in this film was not the greatest, but yeah, she definitely whined a lot in the movie.
She's a little spooked
And
out.
shut the fuck up! Like if you just shut up, like obviously he's testing, and then immediately you're like, "Oh."
And that,
You know what?
If you would have just been like,
I
you would have been like,
imagined-
okay, she's not in here. Obviously, she would have, made a sound, and then now I'll go to the balcony.
Every time I watch movies like this where like somebody got really scared and they just needed to shut up.
Oh!
She
said
said
it.
Oh,
And that's all, folks.
Ah, she said it.
See you in 3 months. Good night.
I think that's the first time anybody said the title of the show on the show. That's
I
amazing.
didn't even catch it.
I didn't
Unintentional
think
too.
about it.
That's amazing.
When anytime someone's getting spooked in a movie, and I'm just like, oh my God, be quiet. They're gonna find you if you don't be quiet. And then I think about, well, when I get spooked, I squeal like a little pig. So I get it.
Especially
Why is that
big
funny?
6'5" masked man's outside, like ooh. and granted, she does the great move of getting the hanger, the wire hanger down.
Pumpkin went out.
Yeah, how did she untwist the wire
Yo,
hanger? So
Just the intuition, she was like, motherfucker.
she was like real quick with untwisting that.
And she stabbed the hell out of his eye with it. Maybe she just got him with the little hanger part, the little top part, and she either way, stabbing him in the eye with it. And the fact that he bursts through the door, turns the light on, and then starts doing the whole thing with his hand.
Yeah.
It's so dope. And when she leaves, and there's that scene that that y'all alluded to, where he's laying down, it's like, oh my God, he's dead. And it's the over the shoulder shot of him just Undertaker and sitting up and looking right at her.
Yeah.
So good.
It's so good. And
Yeah. And
I
then
laugh at it now because I'm like, oh, I'm memeing the shit out of this movie. But it's so, to Taylor's point, I would have loved to see this in the theater blind and not
It's
knowing
such a
anything about it.
stark contrast, and I keep alluding this is going to happen in a few weeks with Rob Zombies. The ending sequence is pretty much the same until you get to that part, and it's just such a stark contrast because Lori just lets Loomis do whatever, and then they're like, okay, that's the end. But with Rob Zombies, it's like she fucking goes ham.
That movie's way more intense than this one.
Yeah.
It's way more. It's a House of a Thousand Corpses, but Halloween.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would say, yeah, I would venture to say there are many things Rob Zombie does, and subtlety is not one of those things.
Which I'm fine with. I love Robert Zombie.
I can't wait to see his monsters. I can't wait to see what that
I
looks
can't
like.
wait to see his monsters.
And I'm excited to watch that movie. But yeah, no, the little swerve for a 1978 audience of thinking the movie's over, and he just fucking sits up and says, "No, it's not."
Nope.
What is going on?
And starts choking her.
And that mask does so much heavy lifting too, where you can dial it completely out of focus.
Oh yeah,
It's just human enough to look so. It catches your eye so easily, no matter where it's at, and it's so scary.
Shout out to William Shatner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the one of the best movie Easter eggs ever is that it's a spray painted William Shatner mask that he, of course, gets no residuals from at all. Just has to watch as his visage is turned into an icon of horror and death.
Yeah, they cut the eyes out and then they spray painted it white.
yeah. They took out the sideburns, the eyebrows, and then cut the eyes a little bit bigger, and then spray painted the hair down.
movie magic. They were originally going to make it a scary clown mask.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, that's really creepy and menacing. But then they did this, and they were like, oh, that's even creepier.
So much better. If it was a clown, like I get it connects to when he was a kid, right? And like
he was wearing a clown costume.
But it's like, okay, then he becomes a fucking clown. You know, when he's he's the Shape, which is such a great ominous name. It's this human thing that you cannot sympathize with or figure out at all. It's like if it was just
he's just the Shape.
Yeah, exactly. He's humanoid almost. It's like he's a clown, then okay, these are the fucking clown movies, right? Like it's a whole different thing. And like clown in the clown driving the car, clown peeking out behind the shrubs. Like it's not at all the same thing. It would not work.
It becomes more laughable, I think.
Because he's
especially in hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a clown.
Funny like a clown?
Michael Myers can be funny as hell when he wants to be.
He can.
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen it.
He's got good bits. But you know, once he sits up and Laurie's pretty much at a state of just like ruin. At this point, she's like, I got nothing left. Like she is so mentally and spiritually just tapped out. Yeah. She's like, you have the true hero of these, like the next like 5 movies, Loomis comes in, fucking shoots him 6 times. That's the other thing he keeps saying in Halloween 2. 6 times! I shot him 6 times! He's always saying that in the sequel. He loves to tell people.
Yeah, he's like the cop that shot 50 Cent.
Jesus. Yes, everyone thinks of 50 Cent because they
9 times. I shot him 9 times, and now
he came in guns blazing.
Now he's got 3 seasons of power.
You're right. Guns blazing. Loomis is always ready to pull the piece out. He like he doesn't.
Yeah, when he pulls the gun out for the first time, and he's like, "Sorry, I know you probably think I'm a little creepy, but."
Yeah.
The sheriff's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you want to settle down there, buddy? Like,
calm down.
He is like hair trigger, right? Like,
doesn't he say he has a permit?
Yeah, and he pulls out the permit, and it's like that doesn't mean anything. Like,
gotta be safe. You never know.
You're a maniac. No.
I got
it's a cautionary tale for today's cops. Fuck all
when
cops.
You've seen what he's seen.
15 years, that boy didn't say a word. He has to die. I love the gung-ho-ness of Loomis. That's the other thing. I keep trying to say Loomis for reasons that are probably obvious to some. My phone also auto-corrects Loomis to Loomis all the time. It's a little aggravating.
How many times are you texting Loomis? That's the question.
All the time.
Is somebody naming your phone?
We have a
Loomis.
Yeah, we Snapchat.
Yeah, because Loomis actually has an OnlyFans, and so Taylor will text me, "Hey, did you see the latest Loomis content?"
Oh my God. So when Michael's choking Laurie, it's like, oh my God, but then at the point where I think Loomis like hears what's going on at the house, he's like, oh shit, here we go again, and he runs in.
He's so stoked that the kids are on. He's like, I got this fucker.
Right? Yeah, and then he comes in.
He's like, I don't got to worry about shooting a kid. I can just go in there and and
then that's when the mask comes off. Laurie pulls the mask off.
Yes.
Ever so slightly for that moment. And Michael's like, oh, mask on. And then Loomis is like, gotcha, bitch. Bow, 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 bow. 6 times. Like, it was so sick. And he falls out the balcony. Back to the balcony bit. Great
callback.
Open the door. Or open the doors up.
True. You're right. That is a great little setup in the and it is interesting. Something I noticed this time is like you don't hear, but aside his breathing, you never hear Michael exclaim anything ever. I mean, that's his thing, right? I keep saying, makes fun of him, he doesn't talk. Even when he gets stabbed and stabbed in the eye, stabbed in the neck, you never hear him go But like that one moment where he's trying to get the mask on, he's going like you do hear him kind of making noise, and it's like somebody fucking pulled his pants down, right? He's like oh shit, he's got to get like also like it wouldn't work for him to like throw the mask down and go back to choking her. He's actually like humiliated, like the whole shtick. He's like, I got to get it back on. It's like it's the source of his power or something. He's like, he has to keep up with the bit. So he has to spend all this time getting straightened back out. And that's when Loomis just comes in, pop, pop, pop. And I love that he just comes in and it's like, this is the moment of his life. He's like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. Finally, this is all I thought about for 15 years. And I'm going to take care of it. and you have that
Yeah,
great.
and that's what I mean. Like he's been helping this kid for a while. There's no way it's not personable. Like there's no way it's not personal.
Oh, this means everything to him.
This kid has talked shit about his hairline for 15 years.
Yo, I mean, seeing Loomis just like light up Michael Myers, it's what anyone would do in that situation. Like, talk about the realism of this. If this could be real, like this, it was awfully like realistic, and the fact that he falls off the balcony, and they go to find him, and the bitch disappears again. Like,
yeah,
but
the perfect ending, right? Because that's your big applause moment, right? That's when everybody claps in the theater, and you have that great exchange that you mentioned earlier. You know, was that the boogeyman?
Oh yeah. Is that the boogeyman? And
he was like, yeah, it was.
And Loomis is, I detect this weird little thrill in him where he's like, it was. Like he's like, fucking damn right it was. Like he's almost happy to finally have that connection with somebody where like somebody else can identify the evil in this thing. And it really is the perfect. I love the reveal shot of him being gone, because it just makes you go, what? That like that at that point there's no rational explanation anymore. He's been stabbed, he's been shot, he's fallen off the top of a house, and he still got up and left before anybody could come find him. But you just there's the cut back. It's the last shot of the movie, I think. Or no, they cut around Haddonfield afterwards. But the last shot of Loomis, where they just cut back to his face, and he's not screaming, he's not exclaiming anything. His like, I feel like his demeanor just shifts ever so slightly, where it's just like this knowing look of, I'm gonna be doing this my entire fucking life. Like he doesn't go, where is he? He just like looks down, and it's like, of course he's not there. Every time I look, he's never gonna fucking be there, and I'm gonna have to chase him for the rest of my life.
I'm always going to have to worry about who's he telling about my male pattern baldness.
And it all started because Laurie went on the porch of the house that he lived in.
Yeah, I love, and again, the simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he do it?
Just because she was there.
Because that's who he saw.
That's who he saw.
You know?
Exactly.
Because there was one fatal mistake. And because her dad had like a key or some shit.
Her dipshit dad was selling the haunted house down the street. You don't even see him for the rest of the movie. And
well, I thought it was because Tommy? He said something about the house, and that it was his friend said it was scary or something like that. And then she went up to the house.
Well, her dad's a realtor, and he's trying to sell the house as well.
She had a key for the house.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, why he would entrust his daughter with that shit.
Why she would need it? Yeah.
Right. It's like what other houses does she have keys to? Why does she have them?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but the Strode parents suck because they don't show up for the rest of this movie. And in Halloween 2, which is after all of this, they still never show up while Laurie's in the hospital.
Maybe they're dead.
They're the worst. I think they are dead in the sequels eventually, but not in like a dramatic way.
Nah, they fucking.
I mean, yeah. What's everybody else in Haddonfield doing? They're being idiots. Fucking like idiots. Fucking like idiots. Let me tell you, Laurie's the only one in town that wouldn't have gotten stuck in that laundry shack. That's it.
Well, you guys keep your dicks in your pants.
Michael won't
recover.
Was that Loomis talking?
That's Connor's impression of Donald Pleasance. But this movie, the movie is.
That's right.
It's just. I think, Jessica, you said this earlier, or somebody said this earlier, about how like you don't need to explain anything. Like you come to your own, like it's not too hard to think about. Like, oh, why doesn't he know how to drive? Like, just because he's a fucking psychopath, of course he knows how to drive, you know, even though he's been in mental asylum for 20 years or however long it's been. You know, it's so simple, and yet at the time, before the second movie came out, we found out all the other fun stuff. Like, it was so to the point and basic, but he's a spook. Like he can fade away whenever he wants, or he can he plays by his own rules. Like a lot of these horror icons do. They play by their own rules, and we just have to sit and watch, but we love him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Michael Myers is the shit. And yeah, I wouldn't have said that fucking 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whenever the first Halloween or the new Halloween came out. But I I've grown to love this movie a lot because it's a great introductory piece for horror fans or for people who want to be horror fans. But it's also just a really good movie when you boil it down. Like take the icon part or the iconic part out of the conversation. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty damn good. And I enjoy watching it. I liked rewatching it for this. It gave me a reason to rewatch it because Lord knows I wasn't going to if I wasn't doing this shit.
Yeah. Is it still work on you, Chris? Still freak you out when you watch it now?
Anything freaks me out. I freak out checking out bits of the watch-alongs that we've done because I know what I freak out at, and it still spooks me.
You should see him watching Turner and Hooch. He's real scared of Turner and Hooch.
Yo, I'm fucking terrified of that shit. What'd you say, Jessica?
I said we have to do a watch along.
Oh dear God, I'm telling you. I said this a long time ago, and I'll say it again. Just put Jess and I, put a camera on us. let us watch this.
You guys need to watch Drag Me to Hell.
Oh,
I actually heard that was a really, really good film. Like it's one of the top horror films of its time.
It's Sam Raimi. It's great. It's fantastic, but that movie scares the shit out of me.
I don't know. Is there children in it? Children involved?
No.
I don't think so. Not in any way that I'm remembering out right away.
No, I don't think there's any children in that movie.
Is it the one where the witch she curses the girl?
Yeah, for denying the loan.
The old lady bites her face.
What the fuck?
Oh God.
It's crazy.
I know this is
what's crazy is I can watch gruesome, gory action, films. I'm into that. I love it. But I don't know what it is about gruesome horror, body horror that freaks me the hell out.
There's some of that in that movie. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this recently about the horror things I actually will watch. I'll sit down and watch. This channel has made me watch more horror movies in the past. In the past 2 years.
Oh, sorry. Literally the first scene of the movie as a child. Can you imagine if you sat down and watched that after we said that and the first scene is that?
Is a child irk?
He remembers correctly. So that stands for.
If I remember correctly.
I remember
correctly.
Get with the times, Jessica. You're on the podcast.
It's the internet lingo.
I'm so fucking old. Don't understand anything.
I was talking to somebody. Oh, we were just talking about horror movies just in general because there's a theater that's not too far from me that is playing American Werewolf in London, and I want to go see it because I've never seen it.
Go see it.
And because they're doing we're doing a different movie a day, and one of the days is American Werewolf, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see that because I hear all about it. I've seen some bits of it, but I know nothing about it besides werewolves in London, and one happens to be American. But I was thinking to myself, I can only watch, I can watch the fantastical shit. Michael Myers, he teleports. So can Jason, and Chucky's a doll that has a serial killer. He's possessed by a serial killer. All that shit. I can watch that. But the second you get ghosts and and all this, and you get fantastical thing or not fantastical, but the second it gets real, that's when I'm out. The Insidiouses, Sinister's the scariest movie I've ever seen. Sinister messes me up, and because it's kids, up
until a week ago, it was the scariest movie according to science, and then Host has become the scariest movie according to science.
Science?
Yeah. Are you talking about your heartbeat and how? Yep.
Oh, because Sinister messes me up. I can't.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Sinister was the scariest movie ever made up until Host, the Shudder original, which is fantastic.
Sinister is also very good for those who have not seen Sinister. It's a great flick. It's Scott Derrickson, right?
Yep.
It's got kids, so
it's all about kids.
Yeah, it's mainly about kids. So watch it.
It's a good movie. Is that the one Scott Derrickson did?
Yeah, it's Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but fuck, it's awful. It's
good,
but it's bad. I hate it.
Makes you love your kids. If you have kids, makes you love them.
I already love my kids.
Makes you love them more.
That was the first time Connor ever loved a child. When
Just
he saw
don't.
Sinister.
Just don't. Just steer clear. Watch Halloween 2 or watch 2018 Halloween.
Oh, she's gonna have to watch quite a few.
I'm gonna have to watch quite a few because Taylor's obviously doing them here at the house. So,
what's coming next week?
Oh, great. God bless
you. Like that segue? You like that
bless.
segue?
Great segue.
God bless you. As you know, every single week we're doing a film from the Halloween series. We've announced which ones. We haven't announced which guests. So let's have at it for next week for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. We'll be joined by 2 previous guests and friends of the show. We welcoming back Video Drew and our buddy Davis Harmon are coming back to speak a little bit on the only Halloween movie that doesn't have Michael Myers in it, Season of the Witch. That one is going to be a blast and a half. I'm super excited for that one. Chris, have you seen that one?
No, I know a lot about it, but I've not seen it. I've heard it's very, very weird.
It was kind of the thought process between the ones we picked was obviously the original is the original. You got to do it. And like, this is the weird outlier, right? It's the only one. David's going to be in costume.
Great.
Maybe he'll be Silver Shamrocked out. And, then you have the reboot and then you have the canon sequel. So that was kind of those were probably like the 4 most interesting ones to do. So next week we won't be talking about Michael Myers, not in any super significant level, but we'll be welcoming back 2 friends of the show to talk about a movie that I think has retroactively gotten a lot of love. It was not popular at all when it came out because people were saying, where the fuck is Michael Myers? But retroactively, I think has earned its own kind of following, and it's a fun one. I'm excited to talk about Season of the Witch. I always knew we'd get to this one eventually on this show, and we just said, fuck it, we're going to be the ones who choose it. So next week is Season of the Witch with Video Drew and Davis. Going to be awesome. Going to be so fun. Anything we like to say about 1978's Halloween before we dim the candles here and call it a night?
I do want to make note of that. John Michael Graham, his photo on IMDb is the photo of him sticking to the cabinet.
Oh, it is. Right.
As his character Bob. Yeah.
It is.
That's incredible. I mean, that's a great kill in a horror movie. It's great.
Oh my gosh, it's so great.
And it's so badass. That's awesome.
I guess I'm not familiar with him outside of this. Yeah, that's all he did. He did a little Grease, and he was Bob, and he said, let's call it a wrap.
He was a background dancer in Grease.
That was it.
And he did the documentary for Halloween, The Inside Story.
He sat down and talked about it in 2010, and that was it. Interesting.
Yeah, he pretty much did documentaries for the rest of his life.
John Michael Graham.
His one big credit. That's one hell of a credit to have on your IMDb. Be that guy from the first Halloween, the best kill of the movie. That's sick. Mm-hmm. But this movie's iconic. It's great. It's legendary. It'll go down in history as one of the right. It'll go like it's gone on history as one of the best horror movies of all time, and it should be, and for good reason. It's not because there's that one stupid part in it. No, like the whole thing is very, very good, and the acting's great. It's aged kind of well, in the 40+ years it's been around. I still really dig this movie. One of the only horror movies I willingly watch.
Really?
100%. A cultural touchstone,
Yeah. And what better movie to bring back Reely Scared?
On some real shit. Yeah, you guys are back. Full force.
We're back, bitches. We're back. No, this really was a great way to come back, to talk about a movie that I needed to watch anyway. It's always...
it's a Halloween cornerstone. Like, once it hits October, even September, like, you got to throw this on a few times.
You've got it. It's just got that October flavor you need a bit of, whether it's Halloween night, whether it's a few nights previous to. You just got to throw on Halloween. I mentioned before, like, when I think of Halloween's growing up, it was all about, like, Halloween night, AMC. They're doing a marathon of all the movies. I think that's how I saw these for the first time, was like catching part 5 on AMC or something and just being like, wow. And just hooked by that ever since. I can't not watch at least one, if not several of these movies every October. So now I've got a brilliant, I mean, we're like 7 days in and I've watched 5 of them already. So thankfully, I'm only going to make you watch the canonical ones. So, which are the scariest ones?
H2O.
Oh, so
That's true.
H2O.
H2O is probably the best one that we're missing this month.
Yeah.
So, in respect to that, I'm still trying to watch all of them. Just I got to nail down the context and keep it all fresh. The worst one I'm glad we're not talking about is Resurrection. I'll straight up skip that one. I fucking hate that movie.
Is that the one with Busta?
Yes, doing kung fu.
You take that fucking back. Take that back.
I will take Cool J and H2O, Busta Rhymes. I hate that movie's just
bonus. Really scared.
That movie is a godsend because of Busta.
It's a bag of dog shit.
And you got Tyra.
Connor's gonna do a Really Scared by himself someday over the course of this month.
Yeah,
straight up talk about Halloween Resurrection. Just the entire 2 hours.
He's gonna record a commentary track. It's gonna be great.
I really like how Busta, studied the ancient art of kung fu for this movie.
Awful.
This just reminds me of Snoop Dogg's Bones.
That movie rules. I'll watch that movie.
Oh, yeah, that movie fucking rules.
I've heard of that before.
Shit out of me as a child.
Yeah, there's three. If you're trying to get into horror, there's 3 movies I can suggest to you.
Oh, Jesus.
It's Halloween Resurrection, Bones, and Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
No.
No. Leprechaun Back to the Hood
is a masterpiece.
Sometimes you got to go back.
Sometimes you gotta go back to the hood.
Sometimes you never leave. that's the sad part.
At least he got out, even for a little bit.
Leprechaun got out. Not too many people can say they got out.
Oh, fuck. Well, this has been really scary. We did it. We came back.
Woo.
We got the first one in, and now it's all full steam ahead from here. It's REELOWEEN Part 2, and we got a great show for you next week. So everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for watching, whether it was live or after the fact. Obviously, this is streaming on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, live 8:30 p.m. Eastern time every single week, but recording will be up on our YouTube and audio channels. Thank you for listening and hanging out. Thank you to our great guests.
Thank you for having us.
Likewise.
Anytime. This was the right way to bring it in with true wonderful friends. This was the way to do it. And
I love being your friend.
I love being your friend too. I love being your friends as well. And I'm so glad everybody could come back and hang out with us. And I'm so happy to have Really Scared in my life again. It was sorely missed. So thank you everybody for making that possible. Thanks again, Astro, for the amazing graphics. Thank you, Carl Casey, for the amazing library of royalty-free music that we get to use to show open. Thank you to Connor's cat. That's Pickles or Waffles?
That's Waffles over there. That fucking maniac. That's Waffles. He's an asshole.
I just think he's been especially well restrained today, despite being in.
He has been very calm today, but now he's freaking out. He's getting into the bookshelf. Hey, buddy. Thank you.
Well, I guess it's time to wrap it up because he's ready to play.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for hanging out, for watching.
Oh my God, that is so creepy.
That's so weird. I don't like that.
That's going to be the new way the show functions, is Jessika could fade in at any time. Oh, fuck. All right. Thank you, everybody. Happy REELOWEEN. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next week with Video Drew and Davis. Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.